We'll just call board, roll call.
Blender.
Here.
Moralia. Solomon.
Yep.
Spearing.
Yeah.
Daisy.
Yes.
Weimer.
Yep.
We'll stand to the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move on to the agenda.
Make a motion we approve the agenda. I'll second it.
We have a motion from Christina, second by Nancy to approve the agenda as is. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I see there's an add-on, so since I got it, my email wasn't there.
Okay, the appeals.
Okay. The only appeal we have is an adjustment that the equalization office made for Terry Swenson. They feel it's higher than market value. They did a review on a part of the property that functionality, for, I don't know, like an addition, I think. And so they decreased the house appraisal from 124,200 to 119,800. Just need a motion to approve it.
Motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Nancy, second by Deanna, to approve what the county said there for the 119.8 for the Terry Vincent's.
No,
Terry
Swenson.
Swenson.
Oh, I thought it was Vincent's.
No, it's
Terry
Swenson.
Swenson, sorry. All in favor? Terry Swenson's.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, the only other thing is, we have to, I look through the book, to see if there's anything that might need to be changed. Usually there's not, unless something is, blatantly missed or whatever. We just need to approve the book as is.
I'll make a motion to approve the book as is.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Stu, second by Christina, to approve the book as is. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. What about that deal with,
It doesn't have to be done here. It's a board improvement.
for Eric's?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so then we need a motion to adjourn
So,
from this one.
Yeah.
I'll make a
second.
motion.
Naima? Second?
Not Christina.
Okay. Got a motion by Naima, second by Christina, to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, we'll open the March 18th. Roll call.
Yeah.
Approval of the agenda.
Make a motion.
Deanna?
Naima.
Oh, guys, speak up. Oh, the other time you guys speak a little louder.
oh,
I'm getting old now.
second.
We have a motion from Deanna, second by Naima, to approve the agenda for the special meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. What's this, strategic planning?
So that's me. So we've been at a crossroads with our 5-year plan for quite a while, and I just started calling towns to see what they do, because somebody's gotta be in the same boat as we are. So I talked to Volga, White, Aurora, and Brookings. Volga and White both use First District as their strategic planning. We already pay dues to them, so it's at no cost to us, from what I understand. We just call them and set up a time, they come down and facilitate what we want in a strategic plan, which is basically the 5-year plan, but then it gives us aspects of where the money comes from, how we do the financing behind the projects we wanna do, and different facilitating things to town. If we give tax cuts to companies to come to town, or they don't have to pay taxes on their land for so long, you know, or we help out with TIFs and that kind of thing.
And who were them two, did you say that we're doing that?
Volga and White. So I talked to Mary, the finance officer in White. Their current finance plan is from 2013 to 18, so they're right now currently working with First District on their next 5-year plan. And Volga just did theirs in 2017, and it goes till 2022. Theirs is really awesome. If you want to look at one online, you just go to the city of Volga, and there's this, you have to download it, but theirs is very impressive. And I know they're bigger than us, but it's really cool what they're doing.
They were in, well, Volga was in, I was in the deal with them where we got together with mayors.
And so they have a city administrator, it's Jameson Barrett, and he's willing to work with us on stuff and give us, toss ideas back and forth. And that was actually when we talked with David from the Chamber in Brookings. That was our next step with him, was to team up with other towns to see how we can facilitate each other. Network.
Okay.
So another thing I asked them to, it kind of goes along with that, I guess, is what they have for economic development. Volga and Aurora both have very active groups that meet monthly and are doing lots of things. White does not, and I didn't really get into it with Brookings because they have their chamber and economic development group and everything, but it was just kind of interesting to see that aspect of how they facilitate each other, and the economic development works with their council and is very active in what they do, which is cool. I think we need that.
Or would that be you on that board, is that?
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but somebody,
But-
they should meet more than they do, and they should bring people here to help
Yeah,
facilitate
And
things.
just like one of us members, not the mayor can be involved too, but one of us members should be that cohesion
right. And what,
between us
when
too.
we did this before, I used to be the one for the council that used to go to the Elkton development, meet with them, and now and then the mayor went, and so I've been going there for almost 20 years with them, but they're hard to get pushed. We do have a new president. He's been in there a year. That's Chuck Raymond. I've got to talk with him again. I talked to him about 2 weeks ago. I said, you know, we need to have an annual meeting. Usually should have had that in January or February at the latest, but we haven't had it yet. So they need to have that, because they have to have that to be their nonprofit, to meet their nonprofit status. So I will be getting on there about that meeting.
It looks like they have to have elections, I think, too. And stuff.
And then they usually do that at that meeting.
Mhm.
They do.
Yeah, their elections are kind of complicated when they elect. It's so many people each year kind of thing.
I don't think that one is.
No, that's the housing
That's the
board.
housing board.
Oh,
This one is, it's an annual deal and they just kinda,
I was
Oh,
reading through all of them.
I just make a
Holy cow.
motion to leave the one in there, it's in there.
Nice. I just think it's important that we see what other towns are doing around us and we can learn from their mistakes as well as their growth.
And, you know, if we could show that Elkton development that these others are working that way with them, it might help us too, down the road here.
So I would like to have Susan contact First District to line up a meeting.
Well,
when
Todd
they're
is going
available.
to be down here on April 1st for the zoning stuff.
We can try and touch base with him that night on
Get
it.
started, because the way it sounded is they'll give us forms that we fill out and we put our ideas and what we want, and then they take it back and put it into a
Okay.
spreadsheet presentation.
I can
kind of thing.
contact him this week as well about that.
That's the way Jameson made it sound anyway,
Okay.
but that was a couple years ago, so maybe it's changed. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, I don't think it would hurt us. As long as we pay first
You
week
pay
anyway,
anyway.
Might as well get our money's worth.
get something out of them.
Right. Well, they do all of our
I know.
grant writing,
I know.
thankful for Greg.
Yeah. Okay, so then the next thing,
So last time we talked about it, ITC is in the process of getting our last video, audio tapes up. She just had an issue, one of my files didn't upload properly, so we're in the works of fixing it. But I looked at a couple other towns. Madison has a YouTube channel, which is really cool, so anybody with internet can watch it from their phone, from their TV, from their laptop, which I think is a cool idea. And I just wanted to make sure that was okay before I create a channel for us.
Is it
Because with
easier to
ITC right now, I
load it
don't.
Does it cost money?
No,
up? No.
it's free. So I think if it's under a certain amount of video and amount of data, like megabytes, then it's free. I didn't see anything for cost anyway. I think it would depend on how much you're loading to it. But it's the same process of what I do with ITC. So I take my phone home, I plug it into my computer, upload the file, put it into a program, splice everything together because it breaks it down into smaller segments, and then I send it to her. Which, that brings us to our next thing. Sorry, I did some research this last 2 weeks. So the city of Aurora doesn't video their meetings, but they currently audio and save them all. And Shannon said that it's really great if they need to go back and check facts and that kind of thing. It's more detailed than minutes would be, which is nice. But they save all of theirs on an external hard drive, which got Susan and I talking that none of our files are backed up here, which is dangerous.
Well, they are,
But-
on just a jump drive.
Yep, so I mean, if the building were to burn down, we have none of our files. External hard drive is a little bit better, but I mean, I don't know. It just makes sense to have backup of,
what does
So
something
put
like
them on
that
a
cost?
floppy disk and put them in the safe.
Well, same.
Same thing.
Yeah.
That's what like Benton does.
But jump drive for files is fine, external hard drive is gonna be able to hold more for if you wanna hang on to those videos, it would be.
yeah, 'cause the video size is a lot bigger. So
And then it's
You
just
can
one
get-
unit, you can pick it up and put it in.
Well, I mean, you don't have to necessarily have the video, you could just have the talking too. I mean, you know,
we'd have to buy an audio recording device, cause that, I can't split audio off of the video.
We have one, but that means buying tapes as well, which we did years ago with when Gabe Cooler was here, and that's annoying to hang on to all those tapes.
Yeah, and I
And
think
relabel them and all that.
any voice recorder now you can do a digital version.
Oh,
I
I
mean, if that
suppose,
makes
yeah.
everybody more comfortable
Yeah.
having just a voice recording.
I mean, I'm just
that,
saying because then you can, then you always have it, you can go back, you can listen to it. I mean,
Mhm.
if that's what,
I like the aspect of our citizens being able to watch. So like with ITC, I'm not an ITC customer, so I can't see what we're uploading. So we're not hitting everybody. So doing it on our website or doing it on YouTube and just having a link from our website, then anybody can see it, which I think is important because that makes us more transparent and it shows everyone what we're doing. And then if they have questions, I think it makes it easier for them to come ask us questions.
or they could just come to the meeting.
They could, but they don't.
I mean,
Well, and people have other commitments, there's other
Right,
things going on,
right.
especially when we have special meetings. And I mean, it's not like it's much work, it's not hard.
but most of like the inbound or homebound people that you said that couldn't, I don't know who they would be, but do they even have computer? I mean, that
Most
they could
people have
watch it on?
phones that they can watch it on, or
Majority,
ITC.
the majority of the people.
Like who's homebound that can't get out?
Well, I mean,
Is there anybody around here homebound that can't get out?
The understanding, Nancy, is this. At some point in time, we all, as citizens of Elkton, need to be able to be responsive to the needs of other people. We can invite people to come to the meeting, sometimes they can make it, sometimes they can't. Just like the City of Elkton group, that's now 530 some people, and they talk about what it is that's going on that concerns them. That made the survey group, and we were talking about that the last time. People are talking about what it is that they want, how they feel about things, and things are being put together. So Elkton is more digital and involved and so on. People don't necessarily wanna come. So if at 4 o'clock in the morning they realize that they can catch up on 3 or 4 different meetings and then come to the next meeting, then that would make it better for them. It's nothing off of us. We're here having the meeting. They're just able to see it at their leisure in its entirety and come back and ask questions. Just like Dave and I were talking earlier, being able to talk to people, people in our ward, but we talk to people that are all over the place. So people want to do it, people are excited about being able to see it, make it happen for them. It's not my thoughts, it's other people saying this would be a good idea.
Well, we have people like, Hank Willard is involved in town and has things going on in town, but he's not always here, so he can't always come to meetings. What's the gentleman that owns the building over here, Whisker?
John Whisker.
I mean, he's involved in town, because he owns property here, but they're not always here, so they can't make it to meetings. Or you have single moms, single dads, they would have to hire a babysitter to come to our meetings. Why not make it so they can watch it at home? Make it so the kids can watch it at home. It's a good learning experience. No.
I don't know what we're arguing about.
Yeah, no, we're not.
I don't think we're
We're not
arguing.
arguing, we're just
Yeah.
discussing.
Do we have to buy an external hard drive then, or what?
I would like to see one bought, because not only can we use it for that, we can also use it to have multiple places for the city stuff to be backed up.
And that probably is not a bad idea.
No, it's not.
Exactly.
Do you have any idea what the cost of something like this is
They're
gonna
not very expensive. I think we have a 2 terabyte one, which is huge.
Yeah.
And I don't think we paid more than $60-$70 for it a bit. They're not very expensive, and the cost has come down probably since we've done it. I think we
That's
can
all
hold
they are, we
like
should be, we should
Make a
have it.
motion to buy a hard drive.
2 million
Yeah.
photos on it.
Yeah.
Stu, I'll second it.
Stu made a motion,
Thank you.
Nancy? Stu made a motion to buy the hard drive, Nancy seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Is the YouTube channel something that we're okay with?
I don't know, why not?
Okay. I think it's fine.
I don't know why not.
I don't think anybody argued about it.
Okay, well,
Okay, approval of the election workers.
okay, for our election this April 9th, we have Linda Campman is our superintendent. She'll oversee our election. And then we have Vicki Myers and Pat Lansman will be our other election workers.
I move would they be approved?
I'll second.
Naima. Deanna. Motion by Naima, second by Deanna to accept the Gambling, Myers and Lansman for the election work. All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carried. Cleanup day?
Well, we need it later this year.
Well, I called them, and as of when I called, they did not have anybody on there. So, I mean, any Friday in April and May we can pick from.
Let's go May.
Yeah.
So May
Like-
12th is graduation. I know that.
Well, I know, but
Hey, you
it's
don't
not
want
gonna be
that.
done, let's go with that last of May.
I
The
think that's
last,
a good idea.
the last Friday we can get in
That would
May.
be the 31st.
And that gives them, what, do we put it out a week in advance?
Well, that's what we attempt to tell
Yeah.
them.
But-
I just understand if we have people coming to town for graduation, we have junk sitting
Right,
everywhere.
It won't happen
But
May
if we-
31st.
If we push it out,
If
hopefully
they,
they
you
don't
know,
put
we
it
got
out.
some people gotta have a week to shop.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Upcycle, why not?
But
It's not
let's-
going to the landfill,
The
then that's
later,
good.
later we can have it because.
Well, this
Yeah.
would be getting right before
Yeah,
June, so that
I
should
think
be
that's a
all
good
right.
idea.
Okay, the 31st don't work.
why?
If
If
it,
it
no,
doesn't-
if it does not work,
Oh,
do we have a second date?
well then
We
we'll
ask
go
them.
then they're always doing it on a Friday,
Yes.
so then we'll go the
Friday
Friday before.
before.
Alright, so the 24th.
Okay, if that one don't work.
That's why we just wanna have that done.
Second.
So,
And we're okay
Did
with
we
the
have a
week
motion?
before.
from,
Motion.
who did?
We don't need a
Okay.
motion, we just need to agree on it.
Agree on, okay.
Does it start at 7?
6:30.
6:30.
Oh. Being you're talking about that, I have a question. So we have a guy that, comes and picks up all our appliances and everything. And he is willing to bring a trailer to town, and he will take everything for free.
Okay.
So does anybody have a problem with that, or can we park it, or,
Doesn't he go around and pick them up, or what?
Yes, he does,
Yeah,
but, well, last year, which I guess was okay, cause we've always had him, we've had him for several years, and if I see somebody, I'll say, I told you Dad that time or whatever, we'd come help him with something, but, you know, we'd go help him to go where they had stuff, and we'd tell him, don't pay the $10, this guy will come get it, and I'd give him the name and the address. So we were taking like all of our stuff, so instead of going here, there, and everywhere, we put it by our garage down at, Bill McDowell's place on one side of the garage. Well, I don't know why, but one of the neighbors, so it was there. So these two old guys ended up coming or whatever, and then she told them to take all this stuff. So when the guy came to pick up the stuff, it was gone.
oh,
So, I mean, not that it probably doesn't matter, but I mean, we did kind of have a thing with him or whatever, and we had picked up all this stuff and done all this, and I don't know if they thought,
so did they pay for it then?
no.
No,
No, they just come pick it up and then they take it for
No, I
something.
meant the other people, did they take your stuff though, the cleanup people, instead of the guy coming
It
around?
wasn't cleanup people, it was just somebody like him that takes junk.
Yeah,
But one of the
Oh, I
neighbors had
see.
said, oh, you know, go take this stuff or whatever, and these two guys loaded all this stuff up. Well, then we noticed that it was gone. I was kind of like, well, he must have came early because he was going to come like a couple days later. And so we didn't think anything of it, you know, and then all of a sudden he come and he said, where'd you say that stuff is or whatever? And we're like, well, we thought you got it. And he didn't.
oh,
But,
So does he take like water heaters, stoves?
anything, anything.
the washer, dryers, yeah.
Anything metal, like I see in the garbage, a lot of, like say fence posts or like wiring or, like exercise equipment, like the metal part, stuff of that or whatever, you know, there's just a lot of that stuff that doesn't need to go to the landfill.
Scraps that can be done a different day then, so it doesn't get picked up?
Well, like if you had stuff or whatever, you know, and say, you know, you could take it to this one location, you knew, like if we put an article in the paper, like, you know, this is the stuff that you don't need to take to the landfill. I know it's easier to just take your stuff to the curb, and even if they separated it, like this was like wood stuff and junk stuff, and this was like metal stuff, your stove and everything, don't throw it all in a pile so they dig through it. You know, if people know that, but I don't know if they know that, or if it's just kind of being lazy, you just throw it all out there. But I mean,
It just saves the people money for paying for it.
Yeah.
What all does do they charge to have picked up?
Most appliances are
appliances.
$40.
Air conditioners.
Air conditioners, dehumidifiers, water heaters, tires are obviously different, yes, they charge for that. Anything, they're just passing their cost off up to the person that they're picking it up from, so they're charging what the landfill is charging them to pick it up. So yes, having somebody come in and pick it up because they want to go through and get the money returned for them is cheaper, obviously better for the community. And Cooks doesn't care.
Yeah, but what happens if, say, I'm like, yeah, I want him to come pick up my stuff, and he misses my house, and I don't prepay Cooks, then I still have a stove sitting out
That was
there.
frustrating.
That would be my issue.
and that happens a lot. I don't know that people, do they know they need to pay? Cause it's done and there's still stuff sitting out there.
Correct, they
Right.
should know that they need to pay.
They should, but they don't know.
But they don't, and that's the problem, is people don't prepay and then Cooks won't pick it up.
Right, and that's why it's still sitting there.
Right.
And then some of these guys will randomly drive around and,
So I mean,
That's
if you
the
tell them our
problem
pickup
with,
date,
you know, as far as moving to one location, is some people don't have that ability to move.
right.
You know, we can haul ours to the corner, but we have no way to haul it somewhere else.
would he be okay with us putting his number in the paper and says if you have appliances or something like that, call this number, give him your address?
Well, he's on Facebook.
Isn't he the one that
is.
posted on
It's
Facebook?
AJ Christensen,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
you know, maybe you could say if you have appliances you want picked up, could they come to the office and give the address instead of,
I don't have a problem with that, I have to keep a list for Cooks.
I don't know what the easiest
Yeah, probably.
I mean, or they could call me too, or they could leave it with me, or I don't,
Maybe
It
you could
doesn't-
have him contact me and we can talk
Right.
about what he thinks would be good.
well, that's what he said, he'll come to town and he'll pick it up. You tell him the address, he'll come get it.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, I think like this happens or whatever, you know, like I give him addresses or people, you know, and then he goes and these other people are driving around. And he just said, I'm willing if they have a spot, you know, that like he would come and pick it up. He'd have a trailer, he's got several trailers, I mean, he could leave it there, or,
Problem with that would be for the people to get it to it,
right.
that would be the issue there.
But then maybe we could find out the addresses or whatever and like, we could get some volunteers and stuff that, you know, some,
And go bring them to the one spot.
Right.
Yeah. We could do that probably too, so.
you know, it might be a,
Probably do that, yeah.
like a high schooler, or like today they had a couple kids that showed up to help with the food thing, and it's like, I think it was wonderful. One of them
Yeah,
was my
definitely.
grandson, so I'll write him up, but then they rode with me and we made deliveries and they helped and everything, but it gives the kids an idea of what's going on, cause they're like, well, what's this for? And, you know, we talked all about that, and then when we went around to deliver and stuff, you know, some of them answered the door and they were like, oh, so grateful, and give them a hug, and I just don't know if people realize how thankful people are with that. It's like,
Right.
you get more hugs and, I don't know, people crying, and then I'm crying.
Okay.
But that's just, you can let me know what you wanna do,
You probably should, just once you talk to him, have him contact her, and
okay,
then they can decide how to do it.
okay.
I mean, yeah, I would think that either kids volunteering or even.
I mean, we could probably do it both ways too, some might just haul it and not want it in their yard, or,
Right.
I'd like to see more of this community service with the kids and stuff, so they kinda get an idea of,
That should go through the school.
I think it would go through the school, but I think if we approach them and say, you know,
Talk to the school.
we could need some help with this, and,
Well,
Approach the school.
that's after the school is done,
That's
why would it
right.
go through the school?
Yeah, I think we can
You set
definitely
up ahead of time.
facilitate that in our community.
well, today the thing was, Carla was walking down the hall and she's seen them guys and she said, hey, do you guys want a little job today? And they're like, well, what is it? And she kinda said, and they're like, yeah, sure. So then they came, and
Not everything else has to be up to this board.
I'm not saying that it is.
Well, every time something comes up, it's we should get into this.
I'm not saying like you guys, it's like any committee, I mean, just whether it's the better, anybody for the better of Elkton. I'm not saying it's your job.
We're public servants, it's our responsibility to help our community and step up.
And we are.
I think we should start a volunteer Facebook page. And then when there's volunteer opportunities, you can say, hey, there's a volunteer opportunity to help with the Feeding South Dakota truck. Sign up below, and everybody comments. We'll get
I
the
am
kids
gonna
that way.
approach the school because, taking those shirts that Melissa made, and I told Jody, I said, well, what do you use them to give the food away? And she said, well, probably boxes and whatever, and I said, well, I'm willing to make these shirts, and then it's like a shopping bag, you know, and you put your stuff in or whatever, and they can reuse them. Because in Alaska, you cannot have plastic bags, they have stuff, or they do that or whatever, and she started this thing, and it was such a big thing that they have like 10 ladies, they get together, they take these shirts, cut them apart, make shopping bags, they take them to all the stores, and
Awesome.
Okay.
You should make a volunteering Facebook page. Have one of your grandkids do it.
Alright,
Put them to work.
let's move on then. But, yeah, I think they're a good idea. The tax abatement?
Okay, we received an application from the county for Eric and Mindy Jones from their building that burned down last summer. So they're asking us to abate $221.31 of their taxes for that loss. We just need to approve it.
I make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Christina? Then a motion from Stu, second by Christina, for the tax abatement for Eric Jones, $221.31. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Alright. At the State House. We've got the okay to tear that down. We've had 2 bids for that. One from Eric Jones, one from Double D.
I thought we were at Double D.
Did we make a motion for it?
I think we did
I
last.
thought we did last
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah. Between the two, we did WD.
I don't know if we did or
Well, I
didn't.
thought
If
We
we
did,
made,
we talked about it. but
I don't know if we made a motion.
Oh,
Somebody said something about approaching the local contractor to reduce the cost or not, possibly, to match the other bid.
You know, there's over $2,000 difference,
Yeah,
Plus-
I thought we went with Double D.
plus the landfill cost.
Yeah,
We need to probably try and decide when we wanna try to have it taken down by. I think myself, we should wait till the middle of April myself, that way we can possibly get the trees, stumps dug out at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't, if Double D does it, they wouldn't have to bring an excavator back to take it, cause it's gonna cost to get an excavator to get them tree stumps out. And haul them away, they've got a place they can take all of them also.
Do we need to check and see how much that's gonna be?
Well, we don't know, even know how many number of trees there are right now, stumps.
Oh yeah, you can't find them. They're buried.
Right now, some of them, a lot of them are buried, on the outside of the sidewalk, they're buried.
There's quite a few of them,
I know there was, I think there's probably,
but there's at least 10.
more than that. I think there was 6 or 7 on the
Both ways.
east side, and there's more than that over here on the west side.
Yeah.
On the south,
South side, yeah.
with them evergreens and all that, what was up there.
So that also brings up the vehicle in the garage and all the items still in the house.
Right.
Did you go in there?
No, I didn't go in there.
Can't get in there.
Oh, yes.
The door's open. But did you contact, so like Connie's done with,
We don't, did you talk to her?
I tried to call her today, but I didn't get her. But,
cause they had started cleaning a lot of that stuff up in the house and then the kids were supposed to come and whatever, I mean, they took stuff, they washed stuff, they took furniture, all that, stored it, the kids were supposed to come and whatever. And then mom died and like, nobody even came and did nothing, so they're still storing stuff, but
all in the house, or that's not in the house anymore.
it's not in the house.
We don't care what's out of the house.
Right,
We have, right now, we could go in there and demolition that house tomorrow, if we wanted to. You know,
well, I would like to say that, I guess me, as being a recycler person, I would hope that you wouldn't do that.
well, but we can't just give it to an individual.
You can donate it.
Who we gonna donate it to? There might be more than yourself that would like it.
I mean, I'm not saying give it to me, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
I'm not arguing that there isn't people that would take it, but
Well, our last meeting, I brought up contacting the Restore because they come out and haul everything out.
what they charge you. But
Depending
you can
on,
go through and like, I mean, the furniture and all that stuff, you could load it up, haul it to them. Or, I mean, that house is full. It is full.
have you
It's,
been in there?
yes, when Connie was in there earlier. And they went through box by box and there was stuff in there that's brand new, still boxes, had never been opened up. The drawers are still full of clothes, like when they lived there, the kids. I just know
Oh,
what you
yeah.
guys did with Blue Box House and it was like, and I know the kids went in there and they trashed it and stuff like that, but that is like just,
Well, that wasn't the city.
no, I know that. But I mean, I'm just saying, there still was good stuff in there, or furniture and stuff like that, and Jack Hagerfeld had asked us, we went over there and got like a ceiling fan and some different things or whatever, and it was like, and Dave will agree, because I think you'd gotten some stuff, I mean, there was a lot of nice furniture in there, and they just,
so we have an auction or what? I mean, how does that work?
We can.
we could have an auction on the stuff that's there.
so have a surplus sale, and can it go to the daycare center, the child daycare center, or something for the city, or,
Well, because there's so many different places that it could go. I think that having an auction, cause people can just stand there and you don't have to do it like Lenny, or he might even do it for free, just as a, well, you know. The money would come in and you, what?
You don't know Lenny very well.
That's what we're laughing about.
Oh.
Lenny don't usually do much for nothing. I
Oh.
think it's 6%.
But I mean,
He's kinda good at grouping stuff together though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Real
He'll
good.
slide like 5 or 6 boxes together,
yeah.
and, you know, but.
Usually he gets a commission.
I wasn't talking about actually him doing the thing, I was just talking about the Emirates, old American, you know, that thing, not the grouping together, that can be done, you know. But having an auction would be kinda cool. I think that the disc golf things and some other leftover salvage stuff that we had,
Surplus?
that was, yeah, and that was auctioned off with that. I think that we could do it, that would be a volunteer thing.
Well, we're
And then just
having,
put the money in a fund designated for whatever. You know, you could give it to the community club, because they give out so much money. Scholarships,
people can
yeah,
apply
so
for it. It's not a bad
that would be not a bad idea, but then it would be someplace and everybody would have access to it, you guys for soccer and so on and so forth, but they're designated and it's all good, people can see where it's going, so if we did the thing, whatever money comes, take it, wrong?
I don't know that you can do that.
Yeah,
What?
The city itself can't, I don't believe can do something like that. We could probably say that we're allowing the community club do the auction and collect the proceeds, but ourselves doing the auction and just doing a grant or something or whatever to give money away isn't okay. You know,
Well, however it would go to the community club.
well, we're planning on doing a rummage sale, like when they do the, citywide one here or whatever, like the Methodists do for the daycare center. So you could do something like that too, where you just kinda put it out there and then, I mean, if it's furniture and stuff, you could price it, if it's other things, then it's kinda like, and Linda says they make bank on that.
Oh, yeah.
Now that gets into June though sometime.
That's
the first week in June.
It's the first weekend.
First week in,
So it'd be
And
the
it might-
second of June.
It might not hurt.
yeah, but that's getting a little later than what we wanna go.
We don't wanna leave the house up that
Yeah.
long.
We want the house.
Yeah, but you gotta go through that stuff. There's a, it would take a while to go through the stuff. You know, is this garbage, is it not, some stuff's wet, I mean, everybody thinks that house is such trash, it's like, yeah, the one part did have a hole in it, there's water in there or whatever, but you'd be surprised how that stuff is not, I mean, it doesn't stink in there, you don't find any mouse crap or any of that kind of stuff, or, I mean, other than them kids that busted that window out and stuff and the water leaked over there. I don't know, I just
Yeah,
think that is just such a waste to just, yeah, it's easy to just go in there and push it all in, but.
Would the community club members be able to help out, do you think?
I don't know, I'm not
We're-
speaking for.
what are we talking here? We're on the 18th?
Yeah, I'm like,
Well, we've got the meeting.
We got a
we've got
meeting the 1st of April. We can talk to some people by then.
We've got
couple
the
groups
community
and-
I
club
don't
next
think the
Tuesday.
city can do that, so.
No, but we
And
can
I don't
talk,
know,
we can talk to a couple of the groups
right, and I
to
don't
see if
know.
they'd be interested.
I can run it by my lawyer too.
Yeah,
what that,
see,
what that's an
Yeah.
option.
Ask
I
him
just don't,
about, ask him
I,
about the community club too, if they would be able to do that, I don't know, because, you know, we're in like a nonprofit thing, so.
No,
Why?
But you can give to other people,
Yeah.
Right,
and
right,
You would
but-
be able to,
other
we,
groups or
because
what have
we're
you.
part of it. The meeting is Tuesday,
Yeah, I know.
and, bring it up then. But I'm really, yeah, Susan asked, because it's our property to do with as we choose.
We
It's
sent a
part of
letter
the
to-
city.
We sent a letter to Jim about the car, whether he'll get back to us or not, I don't know.
Brightsman sent a letter.
Yeah, the Brightsman sent the letter.
Saying that if you want the vehicle, you need to get it ASAP.
Was there a date on there that you
No,
had it on
no.
by?
It was, we plan to tear down the building, if you want it, you better come get it.
I know Chris had tried to get hold of him and couldn't, and then Connie had talked to the kids or whoever it was, I know Connie's type or whatever, because she had said that it was okay, we could go take them sheds and stuff and whatever, and then supposedly he said he wanted that car, he was coming to get it, but then,
It's still there.
I think that, isn't he the one dealing with it all? Wasn't he?
Well, he was kind of, at one time, the administrator or
yeah, I
whatever.
don't think he's.
I don't know who is anymore.
Well, I don't think anybody.
I don't
is
think
because
there
they
is
don't wanna
anybody
touch
actually.
it.
Yeah.
Nobody
It
went
doesn't-
back to, that's why we
doesn't
have
matter now,
permission to
Well,
get
yeah.
rid
It
of it.
doesn't matter now anyway. It's ours.
So how did the city end up with the property? It doesn't go for,
We took them to court,
Yeah.
We took it to court.
and nobody contested it, so the city, well, we don't technically,
We don't technically own the
No,
land.
we don't own the land.
but we have the authorization to tear down the buildings.
In exchange for tearing down the building for the city, I said they should give us the land.
And which
Yeah.
they have sent a letter off to.
They're working on that.
That's with the state because of the, state has $250,000 lien against the property.
So,
So do we also wanna contact like Lenny and see what the price of having an auction would be?
he gets a percent.
He gets about 6.
They don't have a bottom line though.
That's about the bottom line.
Well, I mean,
6%.
like, if you don't, I mean, cause we don't know what's in the house, it could be a
No,
bunch
no,
of
it
junk,
wouldn't
so
matter.
if it makes $100, he's
Yeah, I don't
only
know
getting
that it'd be
6%.
auctioneer worth, but, I
Yeah.
mean,
Same way with buildings. You know, we really would have to, I've heard others, you know, different ones kind of would like them, you know? Well,
Auction.
we really can't just let one come in and take it.
So you guys have
That
done a
ain't fair either.
surplus auction before?
We've kinda tagged on to other auctions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where we've had stuff to sell and they've just added it to somebody
then
else's
we-
local.
Still just
Yeah.
pay that 6%?
Yeah, they give us a rundown on what it sold for, and then they take their commission off of it.
Yeah.
so they're not gonna tear the shed and the garage down,
They will go down,
Yeah, that's part
but
of it,
there's people interested in them.
right, which we could.
which we would have to try and,
ask about that.
Yeah.
Because I am still interested in it, we talked about that before, and that
I
was
know.
what Connie's wife said, yeah,
See, if
Whatever.
if you'd have took them off and got them out of here before, they.
you said you can do it, so.
But, so that's where we're at, so we'll just kind of table this stuff and,
Do you want me to contact the Restore and see what they charge and that kind of thing, and just bring that back to the next meeting as well?
I don't know what the hurt, I mean, it's not.
yeah, it ain't gonna hurt anything.
I just know they charge to pick it up, it's like, it's free. I mean, even in Brookings, they charge you to come
I think in Brookings it's $10, or it used to be, but I don't know if it's
for
still
like one
is.
item,
Yeah, if they,
or is it a trip?
I think it's a trip, but
So I was thinking it was like, and maybe they only have one thing too, but I was thinking it was more than 10, cause I was kinda thinking, that's kinda spendy and they're giving you.
that's when we lived in Brookings though, so it's been 9 years. So it could have gone up.
Never understand that.
We might be able to
People
talk to
charge
the
for
ag
free
kids,
stuff.
Robins, maybe we can get a group of kids to help load it too, you know, or even to get it out. But,
You're gonna do that?
yeah, I'll talk to Robins, that ain't an issue,
Thank you.
I can do that,
Cool.
so. All right. Get a couple other things.
I have a couple other things before we, if anybody's interested, they have the community center, the Sioux Valley Energy has their district meeting, can represent the city if they want to. Tomorrow night, it's tomorrow night, yeah, March 19th, from 5:30 to 7, with a meeting at 7.
Free meal.
Free meal,
Where is
And-
that?
Right
here,
here.
and if you stay until after the meeting and bring this card, we get a $25 bill credit.
We don't have bills with them, right?
Yes, we do.
We have one, the
The
lagoon.
one at the lagoon,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who's
That's
going?
why-
Who's taking one for the team and gonna get a free meal?
Naima.
You wanna hand me that?
Get us a $25 discount. Good job, Naima.
The Governor's Economic Development Conference this year is in Sioux Falls, April 10th and 11th. I don't have information on what's actually they're gonna talk about, but that's something that I and Dave have both gone to previous years. It's usually a really good conference, since it's close by, maybe somebody might be interested. Once I get more information, I can let you know.
You should have more of that by the first of the month.
Yeah,
It's just Wednesday, Thursday.
yeah. The last thing I wanted to mention, just to mention to you, the DNR board meeting is, on March 28th. So Steve and I will have to go out there to represent Elkton on that day, which is next 2 weeks from Thursday. Or 1 week from Thursday, next,
From Thursday.
a week from Thursday, excuse me.
Yeah, served 3 days out this week.
Yeah. So that'll be a nice all-day thing.
Who has third Thursday supper?
United Parish.
United Parish, yeah. And that's, in Huron or?
It's in here.
Yeah, they gotta go to Pier. Anybody that wants to go with them can ride with them.
It's really, I mean, not really necessary.
Like going, why?
Well, I just thought maybe they wanted to stay one o'clock.
See if they have more water than we do.
I might, yeah,
Not yet.
so that's all I have.
All right. Okay. We just as well go to executive session. We need a motion to go to executive.
I'll make a motion to go to executive session.
Second.
We have a motion from Nancy, second by Naima, to go to executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Repeat that.
Stu, Indiana.
We went out of executive at 8:14. Stu made the motion, Deanna seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. We need a motion.
I make a motion, we hire Brandy on the part-time basis of 20 to 25 hours per week at $17 an hour.
If that fails and she does not accept the position, we'll make another decision at our April meeting.
At the April meeting.
Per week at 17, did you say, Stu?
Yes.
Okay, 17 per hour with 20 to 25 hours per week, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
So we need a
if she
second.
refuses, then
If
we'll,
if she turns it down,
If she turns it down, then we'll talk heavily on the first meeting.
then we'll decide what to do.
Well, that's the only way to put it.
Yeah, we don't have a second choice at this time.
Right. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
it's
Okay, we have a motion from Stu to hire Brandy
I like to come around.
at 20 to 25 hours a week.
Yep.
$17 an hour.
Yep.
And we have a second from Christina.
Yep,
And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that
I make
motion.
Nancy?
Are we not doing anything with the park and rec position?
Oh, that's right, we gotta do
Yeah.
that.
Do we have to make a motion for that?
I just, okay,
What
I'll
are we
make a
doing? We're
motion
putting it back.
that we're gonna
No, we don't have
We
to
don't
make a
have
motion.
to.
We don't have to.
We just tell Susan to
we don't have
get
to.
it, no.
Re-advertise, yep.
Okay,
Susan just
Oh, yeah, we're not
have
hiring anybody, we're just.
so I made a
Re-advertise.
motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
we have a motion from Nancy, second by Christine to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
You got 8:17 too.
Yep.